Yo, what's up guys? It's AJ here, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down for you how you can get your first profit share client. So if you're a copywriter, you're a service provider, and you want to crack your first 30, 50, 100K month with the profit share model, then this is the video for you. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of in-depth guides on each aspect of this guide, but for now, I want this to be a quick, short summary of the exact milestones you need to hit to get to your first 50, 100K month. And without further ado, let's jump in. So, your first profit share client, this is where you are at. You are a service-based freelancer. So this is where you are at. So what service do you provide? You do probably email copy. You do FB ads. I had a guy do school retention strategy, school retention like packages. So I think you'd pay a retainer and you'd have this guy, like maybe you have about, because normally it's like less than 30% retention rate. And so if you get a 60% retention rate, then every month you track it and then this guy earns a fee. I know someone who did this profit share model. They use that as like their foot in the door. So, yeah, I'll just write that here. What else? I guess if you're a setter, if you're a closer, and you provide really any sort of service. I guess I'll put funnels as well. Funnels. Whether it's low ticket, whether it's a low ticket funnel, it's a VSL, whatever it is, you are providing a service, and basically that is your foot in the door. Now, this assumes that you have a client already. You're already good at that skill that you do, and you're finding clients. All right, so that's the whole name of the game, is that you have to have a service provider already, and for this model to work, really you have to have been in the game for at least 3 to 6 months. It's really hard to do this when you're first starting out. And so what I always encourage the people that I work with, my students, and people who want to do the profit share model, is you have to make sure that you're not coming from a place of scarcity, like you're completely new, because it can't work in this situation. And so your foot in the door with your client is always your expertise, which is in one of these areas. And so this is where maybe you have 3 or 4 clients. 2 of them you think are like a good fit. Okay, cool. So let's go with that first. So the second thing is you want to enter a profit share agreement. You've been working with this guy maybe for 2 or 3 months. You see potential and you want to pitch something to him. So you come up with ideas. Then you pitch on what the biz needs. So I'd say this is like, in terms of a timeline, I'm just trying to think. I'm just going to put 0 to 1 month. And then between maybe 1 to 3 months. So between 1 to 3 months here, what you want to do is you want to be able to pitch the guy, right? You want to basically generate a lot of data and see, okay, when I talk about what data you need, is what data about the business? Is it a good fit, right? Does it have the levers that you can pull? Does it have the kind of the business partner that you would want to have? What are the holes in the business? Like, is it like a marketing guide? Is it like an email copywriter? Is it like just a proper coherent strategy? And so you really want to make sure that you are the right guy for this. Okay, so during this time, you would have been digging deeper into the research. You'd be understanding, okay, what is required of the business to scale? That's the first 1 to 3 months. Okay. So that's going to be a research phase. You can't really skip this out because you have to be always looking at the business as a whole and thinking, okay, what can I do? Like let's say if this was a $2 million a year business, how would it look like? Right. And I have videos for you that shows you exactly how a $2, $3, $4 million a year business looks like. Okay. So that's what that first 3 months is for. Usually maybe within the first month, if you're really experienced, you know exactly what they need, you can start pitching them right away and you start to move towards a profit share model. But this is what most people I see have as terms of the timeline, 1 to 3 months. And even for me, when I first started out, this is what I was doing. Okay, so the next thing is to pitch the idea to your client. So I'm just going to write down pitch idea to your client. So that's what you want to do, right? You have the ideas. You are ideally within the first 3 months of you working together with him, you are giving all these ideas. So, hey, do this, do this. This, you can do this with AI. You can do this with email copy, this, and he's looking at you as like, oh my God, wow, this guy is giving me so much value. It's awesome. Like whatever retainer that he's paying you 2 or 3K a month is like nothing. Like you're really giving him 10x more in terms of value to the business. And so that's what you want to make him feel like, because that's when he'll be obligated to work with you more and to reciprocate, right? If you heard of influence, Robert Cialdini, there's one of the pillars of influence is I think reciprocity, and then commitment and consistency, and then the liking bias. Like if you want to make sure all these biases are working with you to get him to be your client, to be your profit share client, and to be your business partner. Okay. So you want to pitch your idea to your client at the end of the day. Ideally, so what you could do is, I guess, 2 ways. You could do, let's say if it's a 5K coaching program, it's something that you're starting off first. So I'd say if the high ticket is already built, that means it's easier for you, but it might be slightly less margins for you, which is fine. You take the cards that you're dealt with, and so 50%, and then maybe plus 50% after like maybe 30K per month in profit. So 15% of rev plus 50% after 30K a month in profit. So ideally, how do you get this 30K? Typically, the business you're working with is not a 100K a month business. It's probably between 30 to 50K. And so this number really, you can get it by saying, okay, what's the average revenue of the business in the last 6 months? In the last 6 months. It's usually actually a lot lower, to be honest. Some of these coaches just don't know shit about their business and how to grow and scale. And it's always just word of mouth or copying their friends. That's what at least I've seen. And so you want to make sure that you find out what the average revenue is. So for example, if it's maybe, let's just say it's 180K. Cool. Divided by 6, that's about 30. And that's where you get this, that's where you get this number from. You want to see also from his perspective, what is his goal? Like, what is his like freedom number, as I like to call it? And so 30K, you could get this either like logically. So if it's logic, it can be like, okay, you know what? This business historically has done this much. So that's what you are comfortable with. If I come in and help you scale, I want to scale and I want to be very incentivized to do so, right? I know we can take it this far. I know that you don't have the chops for it, and that's where I'm coming in. And so for that to happen, I want us to split 50-50 after you are comfortable, which means in this case, 30K. So that's the logical side of it. The emotional side of it is saying, look, what is your freedom number? Like, what is your okay, you know what? I'm comfortable at this position. And after that, 50-50. And that's how you can cap the downside for him. Because let's say in your worst months, he's always going to get 30K a month. And if not, then you will earn a percentage revenue, like 15%. And then it's up to you to actually, carry it forward. That's how I would personally do it. That's how I've done it. And that's how I've seen the easiest way to transition to a rev share is this way, where it's lesser risk on behalf of the client. Okay. So that's what I would do. That's the first way. The second way is like a flat thing. You can easily do a flat like 30%. So I would only do something like 50% if they don't have a high ticket program yet. So if they haven't built it out yet and you need to build it out for them, then it's a risk, right? So I believe this risk, it's fully, I think it's fully agreeable that you can get a 50% here. And in the worst case, it should be 30%. So if you think, let's say this is like way too, like this one is too complicated, or you see like he's getting confused, whatever the case is, which I don't think so. I think it's a pretty great deal for him. But if that's the case, then 30% I think is very, very, very doable. for like a flat thing and say like, look, I'm going to come in, I'm going to work on this hard. This is going to be my only focus or one of my only few focuses as I scale. And I want to make sure that I'm incentivized. And you can say, look, let's give a timeline of like, okay, let's get your first within 6 months. Let's get you your first like 100K month, right? It's not that hard at all. So, I'll just put like a timeline here. So timeline, 100K per month, revenue in 6 months. Okay. So that's what I would pitch to them. So you got these three options for you. Again, if they have a high ticket program, then I'll probably do now like number two. And if you have to go lower, like 28%, that's okay. That's okay because look, this is your first profit share client. Ideally, if you want to be in the business for longer, you want to have an agency, or if you want to stick to one person, even if you want to stick to one person like I have, what you can do is just say 30% and later on just be like, look, I want to be this full time with you. Let's act out a deal together where 30% until maybe 50K in profits to you. And then we split 50-50. You can do all these unique creative financing type deals, as I like to call it. So that's personally what I would do. If they don't have a high ticket, I'll build up for them. It has to be 50% because you are involved from the start. That framing changes everything. Okay. So that's how you pitch your idea to a client. You make it completely risk-free or very low risk. Say, look, I'm going to be earning commission, nothing else, just pure commission alone. I'm going to help you scale. Okay. So that's basically the first three parts of things, getting to an actual client itself. Once you get there, okay, how do you scale? So fourth will be scale. So first 90 days. I'd say realistically actually it's about 120, but yeah, 90 days is actually pretty good because 3 months for us, I remember when I had my first profit share, we just went up. Like literally the next month it was 40K, from 12K to 40K, 50K, 60K, 70K. So it was really good. It was, again, I was lucky in the sense that I had a few assets already built out for me. I had a book and I also finished a book funnel for him for my first client. And so that's how I could scale. Now for you, what you want to do is figure out very simply, give me 1 second here. So very simply, you want to consider a couple of things, right? The first important thing is like what he said, high ticket, yes or no. That's the most important thing. Do they have high ticket or not? Second thing is what is the quality of the traffic? What is the quality of traffic? Super, super, super important because you want to know, does this guy have levers that I can pull? For example, does he have a good, let's say like previous customers? Does he have previous customers from in person? Does he have affiliate friends? Does he have any previous promotions that he did? Previous promotions with affiliate previous promos. So what I mean by this is like a webinar or a challenge or like some sort of low ticket funnel, opt-in funnel, whatever they have, you definitely want to know what's working. So when you talk about scaling high ticket, you got the quality of traffic. You also need to understand what is working. So important. What is working? Ideally, of course, things are not working. That's why you're there. I know that. But sometimes it's just a quick fix. Sometimes it's just, lack of a sales team. Like for us, I remember that at this point, we had a media buyer, we had an email copywriter, we had a setter, and people were like dying to talk to us. Like people were like, hey, can I talk to someone? Like I need to feel some reassurance or like feel certainty about my decision to buy the high ticket at the time. And we were like, okay, there's so much demand for like a closer to actually sit and talk to those people that the next month when we got a closer, we doubled the business overnight. Like we went from, I remember 98K a month to, I think it was 176K a month. It was pretty crazy. Like I was like, wow, that's like literally 2x. Okay, it's 1.8 maybe, but close to 2x, right? So the goal here is to make sure we hit the biggest levers we can pull right now. For example, even what's working, you could talk about quality of social media. For example, TikTok, IG, YouTube, whatever it may be, you want to make sure you leverage them and get them on your list and then start nurturing and then cultivating them for that promotion for high ticket, webinar, challenge, whatever it may be. So this is basically the 4 steps to get your first profitable profit share client. I would add actually a 5th one here. Let me just add a 5th one here. So number 4 is scale. And then number 5 is mastermind. So ideally, once you have a couple of people in your program, you have about 100, 200, I'd say maybe like 500. Then you can start to have an event, a virtual summit, and then you pitch a 10K mastermind, need profit share on that, and that's going to be very, very lucrative for you because that's monthly recurring, and it's a much easier sale because, again, they already love the guru. They're just waiting to, like, the best people in the group are waiting to just put more money in the business, and that's where you want to have that mastermind. But again, that's much later. For now, you want to make sure you cover your tracks. So just to recap the whole video again, you've got the foot in the door. That's the service-based freelancer you're at right now. The second thing is the ideation phase. Once you have the client, you're not resting on your laurels, you're giving ideas, but you're also collecting data on if this is a good person to profit share with. The third thing is to pitch the idea to your client. You give different scenarios. You say, hey, and then you choose one that makes sense for you and what you are comfortable with. And for example, I would say that 15%, 50% after the 30K, that's like the best. That's very low risk for the other person, for the client that you have. And then if you don't have a high ticket, then you want to have it 50%. Okay. And you want to make sure you give a timeline. I think this is like super important. You want to give a timeline to your clients. Last thing is scale. Of course, the most important thing. How the hell do you take the business from where you're at right now to 200, 300K a month, consistently? And so the first thing would be high ticket, yes or no. Next thing is quality of traffic. Do they have good quality? Do you need to test out the data first? Do you need to understand who is actually buying my stuff right now? Is it aligned with my main avatar on my best clients who don't refund, who love what I do, and who have a type of personality that I can get at mass scale? Okay. So once you identify these triggers, you identify what's working, what has happened already before, what previous promos that you've done. The last thing would be a mastermind. This is the holy grail. And look, this is much later, at least a year and a half into the business. But for now, let's focus on 1 to 4. Let's focus on, first of all, getting the freaking idea and pitching your client. That's the most important thing. Okay. Hope this makes sense. I hope this is a great overview into the actual process of how to get your first client. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can find me on IG. I'm DAJ Nair. If not, Sam, just comment here and I'll get back to you. But if not, take it easy. Oh, and also, I am doing more one-to-one calls as well. I'm taking more calls for people, copywriters who want to do the profit share model. I'm looking for case studies. I'm building some right now. And so for you, I would love to help you game plan a situation, game plan an actual strategy to get your first profit share client. So if that's you, comment below. I'm sure there's a link below that I'll provide to get to my calendar. Maybe you'll do a type form, whatever the case may be. I'll be excited to help you if you're a good fit. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.